Good evening, folks. This is Tarot by Izzie, all the way from Bonnie, Scotland, and tonight's subject we're going to be looking at the Joe Rogan experience. Now, all my disclaimers are in the description box. Please bear in mind this is for entertainment purposes only. You know, let's take this lightly. It's just a wee tarot reading regarding Joe Rogan. Now, I stumbled across Joe Rogan when I was doing, you know, when you're skipping through YouTube. I thought, oh, who's this guy? You know, so I brought him up on WikiLeaks? Or Wikipedia WikiLeaks. We get Snowden I'm talking about here. And it says here, Joseph James Rogan is an American podcaster, ultimate fighting championship, comedian, actor, former television presenter. He hosts the Joe Rogan Experience, a podcast which he discusses current events, comedy, politics, philosophy, science and hobbies with a variety of guests. And as I say, I've certainly had a look at some of the guests. It's on Spotify, and I think he's got the largest viewership or subscribers in the world. And I think it got a contract. Now I might be wrong, but I think he got a contract for over £100 million. And I think he sort of set it up as a laugh on the podcast. So, alright, I might only have maybe one or two reviews. But hey ho, we've all got to start somewhere. So, the purpose of this is just to do a wee light-hearted reading surrounding Joe Rogan Experience. I say I enjoyed listening to Elon Musk on his Spotify, YouTube interview, and I've enjoyed listening to Russell Brand. There's another guy, Alex something or other. He got banned for a lot of things. I think because he was on about aliens and conspiracies, but really over the top stuff, allegedly. So, as I say, what we're going to do is a wee light-hearted look at the experience of Joe Rogan. He's had a wee bit tough time himself too, to be fair. He's, you know, sort of been knocked and accused of certain things. But we're not going to go into that, just in case I get banned off of YouTube too. And I'm just starting, so I've got to watch what I'm saying. I've got to call Canny here. So we're doing a wee Celtic Cross. Okay, so what we're looking at is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the cards we're using are the same cards we used the other day. And these are the Mystic Mondays Tarot. And it's the deck for the Modern Mystic, 78 cards and guidebook by Grace DeYoung, D-U-O-N-G, I think. And if you hear barking out there, that's the neighbour's dog going off its head in the stairwell. Anyway, we go to card 1. This represents the present surroundings of Joe Rogan. I think he's fascinating. He smokes huge cigars. They're absolutely huge. I know present circumstances. He's feeling his gases at a wee peep now. It looks like he stars in the descendant instead of the ascendant. So we'll have a wee look. We'll just double check our wee book here to find out why. You know, this is something positive we can say. You know, because it could be in relation to the recent experiences he's had. He's had a lot of publicity. Some of his stuff was removed offline as well, because there's changes in attitudes now as well. Certain things that were maybe tolerated 10, 20 years ago are maybe less understood or have different interpretations than what they did then. So in here it's saying, look, the clouds are gathered in the night sky. You've lost the sight of the North Star. It's been guiding you. You're trying to find your way out of the darkness. It's had a wee bit of a tough time. And maybe maybe you're feeling a wee bit adrift. But, you know, it's a wee test of your faith. But things are going to come things are going to come to you, Joe, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Right, so this is the obstacles and recent influences we've had just now. And this is the magician. As this is the magician, I would say this is the magician in the reverse. Now, the magician is usually creating. This is the creative influences. See, when it's in the reverse, it's like the negatives happening. It's almost like people working behind the scenes, I would suggest, that have tried to, well, you've seen it yourself, things have been shutting down, Joe. You know, some of your videos have been removed, some of your podcasts and videos. We all seen them in the old age and dark ages. That's what's happened here. That's what's been the recent influences. But I wouldn't get myself too upset about it. So if we then move on to card number 3. And card number 3, this represents... so this is your obstacles that were in the way and influences. This is the recent past. It's been affecting how you're feeling just now, and that's the Six of Cups. Now, the Six of Cups, that's usually a sort of celebration, you know, the balance. And this is what you've been having in the past. It's been good celebrations, toasting each other, success. So it's just that's what you've been used to experiencing, I would suggest. And then you had a wee bit of a dunt there. You know, it's like, oh, wait a minute, where did that come from? It's just like about the boy. But, as I say, you were used to being nostalgic and a sort of aliens, innocence, familiarity. And you enjoy, as on your podcast, you enjoy reminiscing. You enjoy the past. Going back to what you did, whether it was a taekwondo or martial arts, or I probably still doing the stand-up comedy as well. So it looks like you enjoyed doing that. So we'll move on to card number 4. So that's your nostalgia card. The Six of Cups is your nostalgia card. So we're going to number 4 here. Let's see what number 4. Oh, the Ten of Wands. And this is the events. And it looks like there's been a burden. There has been a burden. They're not getting away from it, Joe. Look, this is what's happened. That's the Ten of Wands, right? That's where there's been the burden. You're carrying that burden. You've got the Ten of Wands here in the reverse. You know, as you say, in the upright, the Ten of Wands is a burden. You're carrying it. It's wearing you down. You know, but in the reverse, what we're hoping for is we're looking for a change to that feeling, the burden that you were having there, because it's now switched round, and hopefully there should be a lightening of the burden that you felt you were carrying. You know, and it's trying to let go of that, trying not to feel resentment. You know, and don't feel helpless. Don't take on responsibilities that aren't yours. You know, don't build up any other unnecessary strength, pressure, and go back to a place of where you were feeling inspired and enjoy it. Because once you embrace that again, see all this burden, it'll go. And I don't think you're a resentful type of character anyway. You know, from what I've seen on the podcast on Spotify. So let's go to card number 5, and let's see what the potential outcome is in relation to what you've been experiencing. You know, so far, you know, your gas is at a peak. You know, there's been a wee bit of meddling and interfering. You've been a wee bit nostalgic. You've been carrying a burden. You've been a wee bit hacked off. That's a wee bit teed off. I suppose that's about as much strong as I can say. If we go to card number 5, this represents potential outcome. So potential outcome, it's got the Justice in the reverse. Now, I would say, you know, the potential outcome, justice obviously is the balance, the scales, the feeling that you're being, you know, that you have got the justice, that it's objective and fair. But what you've been feeling, that there's an unfairness, there's an injustice, and that you feel that events in your life have been unfair, um, and you're looking for people actually to hold accountable in your own way. And it's giving you a time to look at your life anyway, overall. Alright, this is came out the blue. You're not happy with what's happening yet. You've been nostalgic. You feel this is not justified. But it's giving you time to stop. Take stock and take stock of what's happening. And to be honest with yourself. And think, is there things that maybe I could have done differently in the past? And is that what's influencing myself just now? So if you go to card number 6, this is the immediate influence we have just now. It's the Ten of Swords. Right, the Ten of Swords, usually on the upright, is not a very clever looking card, I have to say. I might have to do this one again, Joe. You know, but as I said, the Ten of Swords is usually an ending, but it could mean that you've had your Ten of Swords and now you're looking for a reprieve from the situation, and this is what's coming as the restoration, transformation. So you've been through all of this, and then you hit this, you felt like you'd hit rock bottom. And I saw the bit you put on your podcast as well, about your explanation about certain things. And that is now turning things around. And it looks like what it's saying here, the dramatic events have led you to strongly reevaluate all areas of your life. You're letting go of what doesn't serve you anymore, and you're purging all excess baggage. And that could have been, maybe that was some of the videos that went on the podcast online. So what it's saying is that personal transformation requires that you let go of the old so that you can make room for something new, and to chat through your worst case scenarios. You know, take an inventory of your thoughts, beliefs and attitudes, and clearly label the ones you want to keep and jettison the ones you don't. That's what I would suggest. That's what you want to do. So let's go to card number 7. So that's your immediate. This is you turning the corner, Joe. You're turning the corner. Card 8 represents the opinions currently formed. No, we're on card number 7. This is any fears that you may have just now. Again, no, it's the king. It's the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords is the truth. What you want is your perception of the truth to come out. The truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And anything gets in the way, you're quite happy just to... And again, the Ten of Swords in reverse is telling you that as well. If you go to card number 8, represents the opinions that other people might have around you as well. And we've got the Three of Wands. Now the Three of Wands is again more to do with creation. So what we're looking for is, I'm not going to say it because in some, I might get banned for it, but basically in certain situations it can mean something else. It can mean something quite naughty, the Wands sometimes, but in this case we're turned into the corner, we're looking for truth. We're now for the Three of Wands, and that's persistence, progression. And this is saying, this is luck. It's what happens when preparation meets opportunity, says the Roman philosopher Seneca. As a result of your persistence, you're already making progress in your endeavours. You're already on your way back to your grand vision. You're taking your bird's eye view. You're jettisoning the stuff you didn't know what to do. You're well on the way again, Joe. You're well on the way again. You didn't need me to read your cards. You already know the outcome. And here we have the Hermit. Now, card number 9 represents your hopes and fears. Ordinarily, the Hermit in the upright would mean that you're sort of hanging around. You're you're reflecting, you're stopping, standing still, you're looking at the light, and you are in a period of reflection. But then we've got the Hermit in the reverse. So I'm just going to double check that. Because I don't want to mislead you in relation to this. And what it is, it's concerned about loneliness, withdrawal, and confinement. And what it's saying is it's telling you to take time out of your busy schedule to reconnect with yourself, to evaluate your own priorities, and not to get too sucked into the maelstrom of what has recently happened. So it's just giving you a wee heads up, and that's what you're worried about yourself. That's suggesting there. And then we'll have card 10. The outcome is the 6 of Wands, Joe. The 6 of Wands is looking better because you went through a bit of a bumpy. I mean, I couldn't have made it up if I hadn't seen it for myself. Looking at that, it's saying that validation, victory, killing the game with absolutely no shame. You are going to be on fire. There is no stopping you. People are taking notice of your success and acknowledging you for your talents. Despite all the challenges that you've been through, you've managed to persevere through it all and come out on top. This is the validation you needed to keep on going and to trust that you're on the right path. On top of the world, this skyrockets your confidence, risen by the positivity and the love that surrounds you. The praise, rewards, recognition are only the beginning of your success again. Remember to take a moment to look back at where you were. Perspective will keep you grounded, and to be proud of yourself that you've come through this journey. Oh well, folks, I hope you liked the re-recording, the little podcast I've done for one of my characters who I thoroughly enjoy listening to, and that is the Joe Rogan Experience, and you can hear him on the Spotify podcast, but you also got snippets on YouTube. It's the Joe Rogan Experience. There'll be things you'll agree with, there'll be things you disagree with, but to me it's worthwhile to expand your mind. Thanks for listening, folks. Take care. Bye.